Hey, what's up, guys? Just gonna give you guys some time to show up and say what's going on. Grab my phone, make sure I'm able to key in here. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, let's just get right into it, shall we? So, as many of you guys have known, I've been making a lot of significant changes in my life. One of the things that becomes most apparent to a lot of people is actually in the direction of my coaching. And I give a quick synopsis for those of you who do not know maybe the why or the how it happened. So at some point when I was doing relatively well with the professional wingman and being acknowledged around the world as being a top expert, there was a level of emptiness, and lack of fulfillment that I was experiencing. And at the time, I didn't understand why. I felt lost and just wasn't sure what to do. And a lot of the emotions around it, I didn't understand. I didn't know how to handle, didn't know how to process or talk about. And I became subject to a lot of escapism. And that escapism showed up in not just my work, but also other parts of my life, my relationships, my friends, my health, my connection. And it just took me down a very, very deep descent that was fueled with alcohol and drugs and just not taking care of myself. And at some point, it was a choice that I had to make. I mean, I had to either take care of myself or my wife wouldn't have a husband and my daughter, wouldn't have a father because it was going down that path. And obviously, like reaching out, getting support, changing my life was like the big thing. And in January of 2019, that was the moment where I decided I was done with Wingman, or at least like being in person, working on being in those environments. And since then, the question came up, well, what's next for me? What is going to be the next move? And it took all of 2019 to go on this journey to realize that, dating, it was never just what I did. I was known for that and I had great branding around it, but it was never what I did in terms of just the focus. There were so many transformations that was happening with people's confidence, changing other parts of their lives, leveling up their careers, leveling up their fitness, leveling up their perception of self, leveling up their love of themselves, so many areas. And while I was doing the same for myself, I still wasn't feeling like that charge that I had when I first discovered Wingman in 2009. There wasn't that excitement, that feel. Like most of what I was doing at the time was out of obligation. And I made a commitment to myself, a declaration that I was going to spend, 90 days finding something that was purely for fun for me. And that's when I reconnected to my first true love. No offense, babe. Video games. Video games for me changed everything. When I was, even as a little kid, I found video games to be such a creative outlet for me, such a place of peace and zen and serenity. And at the time, my parents didn't know, or they were worried that there would be some type of video game addiction. It was never about that. It was really, I never used video games like I did for alcohol, for escapism. And when I challenged myself to actually compete at a larger level, actually try to make money competing and playing video games, that's when everything unlocked. The unbridled joy and passion that came out of me was unlike anything I ever felt since I was a little kid. And it was in that moment that I realized, wow, like what would life look like if I took video games and how I felt about it and how I saw the world and translated it into coaching and my life philosophy. And there is when the one effect was born. And I'll explain to you like really what the one-up effect is. So for many of you guys who are familiar with video games, I like to use Super Mario Brothers as a basic example. And when you're playing Super Mario Brothers, it's very clear that there are two different ways to play the game. And there's one area where you are on your last life. And on your last life, it's a panic and anxiety filled experience because you don't want to die. You don't want to take risks. You just want to do the bare minimum to avoid any danger and completing the level so you can move on. And then there's the other side when you find that green mushroom, right? The green mushroom represents the extra life. You get the one up. All of a sudden, your psychology changes. You're now willing to take your time playing. You're willing to take chances. You're willing to explore and navigate yourself through the different dangers and opportunities that exist in a level. You're willing to face those challenges head on, knowing that you have that extra life. And as I was thinking about life in my perspective and how, I was always told, you only have one life, you only get one shot, that this is it. I realized it put a lot of pressure on me. And I'm sure it puts a lot of pressure on so many people to wow, I only have this one chance to do it. And not only do it, I got to do it flawlessly. I got to do it perfectly, or else it's all to waste. And that's when the philosophy came up. Live life like you found an extra one. Who's to say this is our last life? Who's to say this is our first? What if we're already in our extra lives, right? These are the questions that start to come up. And why can't we have happiness now? And that's really where it came for me now. I was doing so much of personal development and transformation, and it was all amazing. And sometimes I was having fun, but the sustainability of me having fun wasn't there. I wasn't happy. It wasn't like a long-term happiness experience for me. And it was still just because it was so focused on outcomes. It was focused on success. It was focused on achievement. And as someone who's created high levels of success and achievement in his early ages, early being in his 20s, I didn't get that fulfillment that I thought I would being on the other side of success. And so I decided, I'm not going to go after success like that in a way where it's purely focused on that. So how do I become happy now? Well, I become happy by thinking about what's the thing that always makes me happy no matter where I am in life or what I'm doing. Video games. So I made a choice to use game design as an overlay for personal development. Meaning you can create a game of your life, and games are designed to have fun. And if you're not having fun, are you really winning? No one plays a game because they're not going to have fun. And I realized for so long that when I was living life, I was so focused on success. I was so focused on fulfillment. I was so focused on success and I was so focused on achievement that when I even reached those levels and I was able to get the outcomes, I wasn't happy. I didn't have fun even along the way towards getting that achievement, getting that success. So was I really playing my own game or was I playing someone else's game? Was I really winning? If I'm not having fun, that didn't make any sense to me. I don't want to play that type of game. So this is where the one-up effect came into play. And since then, I've been coaching tons of men around the world, focusing on how to create more happiness and fulfillment in their lives. And I've expanded out to actually work with businesses and other high achievers and performers who realize that success isn't everything, that they want happiness, they want fulfillment, but they just don't know how to do it because they devoted most of their lives towards success. So now it comes to where we are today. And this is where I have the big announcement that I want to share. And that is, I have decided to really expand and scale my message by writing a book about this. Writing a book about the one-up effect. The one-up effect to me is my purpose. This is really why I believe I'm here on this planet. And that is to show the world how to be happy without having to sacrifice success and achievement. Because I know those things are important in life if we want to move ahead. And at the same time, we've been told many stories that happiness comes on the other side of success. And we've seen it, whether in our own personal lives or in other people's lives, that actually is not true. That oftentimes we find that people who have large levels of success are typically the unhappiest. And that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't feel right to me. Why can't we have both? And why does one have to come at the sacrifice of another? That doesn't agree with me. That doesn't feel true. And I lived that life. And I know firsthand that that just isn't sustainable. And so the one up effect is essentially a guide, helping people, helping you learn how to experience happiness and fulfillment now while not having to sacrifice the success that you have, the success that you want to create, or the success that you've created in the past. And this is where I'm really excited, because I know I've been wanting to write a book for a very long time. I've been told by countless people, including some of you guys watching right now, when am I going to write a book? When am I going to write a book? And now is that time. And I'm going to put up a link here where you will actually be able to get a pre-order. You can actually go on here now and pre-order your copy of The One-Up Effect. And this is really cool because this is something that I never imagined that I would do, but what's really cool is that this platform, Publicizer, allows me to actually put out pre-orders for the book right now as I'm writing it. And yes, I am writing it right now. And it allows me to also be, in the eyes of publishers who might be looking for something like this. And I would really, 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 it would mean the world to me to have your support by buying as many copies as you possibly can, but also sharing this. Right now we live in a world that feels unpredictable, feels like it's fueled by fear and division and separation and isolation. And there aren't a lot of messages that we get exposed to that can actually inspire someone to see and experience all of that noise and still feel like they can have some level of control over their lives to be happy and fulfilled and not feel this need to give up or fall into the wayside of what that noise represents outside of us. And my mission is to be a voice. I don't necessarily need to be the voice, but I would love to be a voice that hopefully can connect with someone out there who is struggling, and like I was at that, during that time, and hear this message and hope that, like if I can really focus on being happy, my life can change. And the One-Up Effect is really cool because when I talk about game design, for those of you who don't know, I actually went to school for video games. That was my original dream back in the day. I wanted to be a video game producer. And so my passion for video games even goes to an academic level. And I have always been enamored from not just playing the game, but the intricacies of the game, the user interface, what provokes us to play. How does a simple game like Super Mario Brothers back in the early 80s still become relevant today in 2020? And what about the mechanics of gaming allows it to be fun and allows it to be something that anyone can pick up and play? Don't be fooled, guys. Like, if you're not someone who picks up a controller and plays video games, does not necessarily mean that you are not a gamer. That's one of the biggest misconceptions that I feel is still going on to this day. Gamers, I believe we are all gamers in some way or fashion. And it doesn't mean that we pick up a controller and play and that makes us a gamer. There are plenty of people on here who are more casual gamers who like Words with Friends or Candy Crush or Clash Royale or any of those other games that are going on, home design. But there are also those who love crossword puzzles, who love Sudoku, who loves word search, who love making games out of anything, such as how quickly you can get in and out of the grocery store or how quickly you can clean your home. Or who can cook, the fastest, or who can, do whatever. Even as kids, we used to make everything out of a game. My daughter and I were playing a silly game this morning where we throw a ball off the bed and then we get off and chase after the ball, and whoever got it won, like our imaginations around our ability to create games out of anything, even the most mundane of activities, is something that is not lost on me, and it is not lost on you. It just hasn't been tapped into because we've been kind of driven into this world where it only exists based on what you've done and not based on who you are. And for me, who you are is everything. Who you are determines everything that you create in your life, everything that you are in your life. And when you don't have time or space to explore that, to love on yourself, to heal past wounds, to accept yourself, to feel courageous, to build resilience, to build integrity within yourself. Greg says you were playing that game. She was playing the daddy fetch game. There were times where I was actually just going after it myself and she was watching me. But yeah, like when we don't have the space to do those things, then we lose track of who we are. And then we're just in this phase of just doing, right? And who are we doing these things for? Are we doing these things for ourselves? Are we doing these things because we want to experience validation and praise, things that are outside of ourselves? Are we doing these things because we don't know any better, right? What we were taught, what we were told. There's so many, hidden stories that are way, beneath at such a deep level that govern our lives, and we don't even realize it. And when we don't take the time to figure that out, then we just get stuck in this game loop that we don't even enjoy playing. And I would love to invite and challenge you to understand and know that you can create your own game that is fun, that is powerful, that is loving, that is adventurous, and that is as successful as you want it to be. And so there's many things that I'm excited about putting into this book. I'm putting in the strategies I've been using and the systems I've been using with myself and my clients each and every day. Things like health points, right? The one thing that I think is really great about the one-up effect is that I found a way where you can actually track and measure your own personal development. So imagine, being able to track your health in a point system based on the things that you are doing each and every day to give yourself power, resilience, love, fun, creation, most importantly, integrity. Being someone who actually does what he says or she says, and being able to build upon that. Things like magic points, right? Like all the hidden work is called, for me in my life is magic. And these are the things that people don't see. People don't see how I got from one point to another. They just see the results and they praise them and they love them, and I appreciate that. And it took a lot of magic that I had to create, magic that I had help creating. How do you measure that? How do you track the magic that happens in your life that accelerates your transformation, accelerates your results? And one of the more important points that I've created is actually based on an algorithm I created that determines your happiness and your fulfillment. Now it's simple, right? Like it's not necessarily meant to be like the one-all of measuring your happiness and putting it just to one number. But all this is designed for you to have a clear idea of where you are in your life. And if you see a number and then you're not happy with that number based on the scale that was created, you're going to want to do something about it. And knowing that you're giving yourself points every single day, and you're playing this mini game of how many points you can get in a day, now things become fun. And then you get to apply that to things like releasing weight. Like one of my clients lost over 25 pounds in less than 6 months playing this game. And he wasn't under any type of diet program. It wasn't anything specific, but he just made this a game and he had so much fun doing it. It wasn't a point where he felt miserable, like the work doesn't have to be this miserable process. It can actually be fun. Another client who was on a fast track to getting a promotion. Another client who went out and, was able to build confidence and connect with strangers, to build a stronger network of friends, to have a deeper connection with his spirituality, to have a meditation practice. There's so many different angles, to have a weekly date night where he's able to go out and hang out with himself, build a stronger connection with their kids, these are all the things I'm bringing out, randomly with different clients that I've worked with who've been able to produce these type of results. But one of the most fulfilling parts about all this is that these guys have rediscovered how to have fun in their lives again, and what it actually means to have fun, and what it also means to love themselves. And that's really where it hits home for me. Prior to even going on this journey, one of the biggest realizations that I made is that I didn't even know how to love myself. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what it meant. And when you realize that you haven't done anything like that for years, of course you're going to forget. Of course you're going to be in this place where you don't know who you are. You don't know if you love yourself. That was me. I did not know. And one of the things that I made sure that I learned how to do was, how do I show myself love? Like, I was hoping that everyone else would show me love because I was so validation seeking. But when I give myself love, and I learn how to give myself love, I don't need the external validation. I can show up to life pre-validated, not worrying about what other people think of me, not wanting anything from anyone, and really just show up as I am, completely complete. And so, so I'm gonna, so obviously in that book, in the One Up Effect, I'm gonna be sharing a lot about my experience around what it means to love yourself, and what my experience was to rediscover my love, how to be able to exercise that every day, various rituals that I practice and what my clients practice that allows them to level up, their capacity to take on the daily demands that life brings. One thing I didn't realize is that, like, when I was waking up, I was reacting to life. Like, I woke up and I was immediately in reaction mode, and I was giving myself to so many people who obviously, some of those people need me, like my daughter and my wife, but continue to give myself so much that by the end of the night, I had nothing else to give. And then there's nothing to give to myself. And that level of exhaustion and, potentially building resentment and frustration can lead anyone to wanting to burn out, to burning things down that they've created, or escaping through some level of sedation, whether it's watching TV. For me, it was alcohol. For other people, it could be shopping, porn. Like, there's just so many different directions that you can go to escape, because you don't want to deal with this on a regular basis. And I don't want you to go through that I don't want that to be your life. I don't want your life to be on repeat of things that you don't want to do, that you don't look forward to, and that you're not having fun doing. Someone who's experienced that is not fun, and it doesn't lead to the kind of life that you want. It doesn't lead to any long-term happiness, and it doesn't lead to long-term fulfillment. So, so I'd love for you guys to hop on, get a copy. You can get, if you get more than one copy, you will also get an autographed copy of mine. I also offer some one-on-one coaching sessions. If you guys are interested in having some one-on-one time with me to share with me what's going on in your life and any type of guidance that I can offer. I have huge flagship programs I've created as a result of the One Up Effect that are creating amazing results for my clients across the board that I'm offering in addition to people who are buying multiple copies. If you have a company or a business and you would love to have me come in and talk about how wellness can be a significant key result for your employees and how to integrate that into your overall culture, you can have me come in and you can grab one of these special bonuses that are available. That's one of the key signature talks that I share with with businesses that I work with, is we have to take more responsibility for our employees' well-being beyond just their level of performance inside of the work that they do. Especially in a world now that is unpredictable with COVID and most people working at home, there is no separation between work and home. It's the same thing for most people, and they're not prepared for this. They still aren't. And it can be very challenging, especially if you have kids or other things going on in your house. And so I feel that businesses should take more ownership of taking care of their employees' wellness beyond just having to make sure that they perform well at their jobs. I feel like inspiring and motivating their employees to have OKRs in wellness, whether it's physical, mental, even spiritual wellness, that allows them a sense of focus on something outside of their work, can actually increase in their own performance at work. And it's actually been proven by my clients who work at various companies around the country. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if you're not sure how to incorporate that, you can connect me to your HR person at your job, and I'd be happy to talk to them about how we can come in and have an orientation and talk about what it's like to bring that together. But yes, any support around getting copies for the book would be greatly appreciated. Also, share this. I'm actually going to post this update inside of the pre-order campaign page, and so I'm going to post this, but also share the link to others. Let people know if there's anything that I've done that has impacted your life in a positive way. Share that. Let people know and try to help me get this message as far and as broad as possible. We get a huge opportunity here to be happy in a world that probably doesn't care about your happiness. They care about your results, and that's a different type of game that doesn't allow you to truly win. You might feel like you're winning because you're hitting your numbers or you're hitting your results, but if you're not having fun, if you're not happy, you can't really say that you're winning. And I want you to win and have fun playing. And I'm so grateful that, throughout the many, many years that I had to go through on this journey, hitting the highs and the lows of my life, that I've been able to get through it all and be here with something so powerful and so long lasting and long serving. I'm so grateful that I get to apply this to my life every single day. And let me say that again, everything that I offer, everything that I will be writing in this book are things that I'm implementing in my life every single day. This is not something that I'm kind of telling you to do and then I'm not doing myself. This has been built based on everything that I've been doing in my life over the past few years, each and every day. So this is something that is near and dear to me. And I want to be able to share the message in hopes to inspiring someone to change their lives and transform it at such an accelerated level that you can't even recognize. They can't even recognize who they were before. So, Greg, if you're not a player, you're the game, right? And I mean, and typically, if you're the game, you're being played in some way, right? And here's to give you an idea of how this whole idea is broken down. I call it the fallacy of the game, right? The fallacy of the game is this game that was taught either by us reading or possibly by our parents and their culture and their history of their culture and generation growing up, that if we work really hard and we create all this type of success, then we'll be able to have whatever happiness that we want. And on young minds, this is very, very influential, because what you're saying is don't worry about happiness, it'll come. So focus on success. And I'll tell you, from firsthand experience, that led me down a very, very interesting road that didn't lead to actually happiness. I had success, did not lead to happiness. And I found that actually going down the road of happiness has led me to success. So I don't lose success by being happy. But this is the fallacy of the game. This is what we're taught. And then we're pushed this in various different ways, whether it's in media, in the work culture, especially if you're working at a huge company like Google or Amazon, Apple, anything that has performance markers. You're going to be pushed this, right? To success. Success is going to make you happy. And we've seen this time and time again that actually is not true. We've seen plenty of successful people unhappy We've seen plenty of people who we thought were seemingly at the top of their game, or even at the highest level that we thought they were happy, even killing themselves because they were not happy and they didn't know what to do. They couldn't handle what they were feeling and the level of unhappiness that they were experiencing. And so this fallacy of the game actually introduces you to what a game is. And a game is an event in which you are participating in. And the participation part is so key because you're either playing or you're watching. You know, so it's a game that you participate in that has a set of, you know, rules and instructions, which is essentially how to play the game, that then determines outcomes, right? The results of the game, and that which determines a win, right? Whether you win or lose, right? And it's also designed to have fun. And this is the part that most people miss, right? It's like everyone's focused on the rules and trying to get the outcomes and trying to get the win. That when in reality, games are designed for you to actually have fun. And so when we focus on certain parts of that definition of a game, we start to lose ourselves in so many different ways. When we're focusing on winning and we're not having fun, there's no way that that ends up becoming a winning part of playing that game. And I've said this many times for many people is if you're winning, if you think you're winning and you're not happy, chances are you're playing someone else's game. And I remember the first time that I said that, it actually blew my own mind because I didn't expect that to come out of my mouth. But when it did, it felt so true. You know, if I'm not happy, then I'm clearly playing someone else's game. And I don't want to play someone else's game. I want to play my game. And I want to be the one playing in it. And maybe those who are watching me play this game get inspired to play their own game. Or join me in this game where we all can win and have fun. And when I discovered that that was a huge part of the game for me, then that completely changed the entire lens in which I see life. You know, for me, every opportunity for me has a chance to be fun. And I get to choose if it's fun or not. If I choose that it's not going to be fun, then it's actually not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun at all. Whether or not I get the results won't matter. It just won't be fun. And if I choose for it to be fun, not only will I have fun, but I have actually a greater chance of it working out the way that I may intend it to. And even if it doesn't work out, the fact that I had fun actually eliminates my connection and my desire to control the outcome in which it takes place. There are many things that I have declared that I was going to do over the past 2 years. And a lot of those things I did. Did I do them in the time that I said I was going to do? Some of it, yes. Some of it, no. Did they still happen? Yes. Did they happen the way that I wanted it to happen? No. But the most important thing is I had fun doing it all. And no matter what you guys are going after, whether it's in physical fitness, mental wellness, spiritual wellness, whether it's about finding fun and being able to play again in your life, whether it's about igniting more passion in terms of loving yourself more, maybe igniting more romance in your life, or even if you're single, or igniting your love for actually dating again, whether it's showing more empathy and compassion for the world that exists for what it is, something I call scaling empathy. Or it could still be performance driven, learning ways to increase your value, how to share that value with other people, how to ask for value. Something that I feel that we don't do enough is to ask for value, ask for support. How do we be able to do all these things in a way that's fun and that leads us to a fulfilled life? This is all what's going to be in the one-up effect. And it's going to be written and done in a way that hasn't been done before. I've actually just did a lot of research around some amazing books that are out there, such as Big Magic, and some other amazing books, The Happiness Project. Like, there's just so many great books that are out there that do speak to happiness and why it's so important to us. But there isn't actually a book out there that has put the overlay around game design and understanding the psychology behind gaming and why it makes it fun, and then mapping it to how you can use it as a philosophy for life. So I'm really excited about releasing this, and with your support, it'll happen. And it'll happen no matter what, actually. With your support, we'll be able to spread this message to a greater audience. So appreciate you, Greg, for hopping on. I know there's so many other people who've hopped on. Steph Marsh, Steph McKenzie, Steph Parrish, Bethany. Thank you guys so much for just hopping on. If you have any comments or questions that you want to share, please post. I'm actually using StreamYard right now, so it all filters into one place. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can message me. I'm going to come on actually and do lives more often. I'm going to do plenty of lives over the next 30 days because if I'm able to get 500 pre-orders, I'll be able to communicate and connect with 25 publishers through the platform which I'm doing this campaign on. And so that'll greatly increase my chance of actually being able to have this be have a home inside of a publishing house. So with your support, we can get there in those 30 days. I actually do not doubt it. I was sitting this morning looking at the numbers, and I closed my eyes and I saw it actually happening. Like, with the amount of support that I've had over the years and the amount of people who I know and know of me, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do this. But I also want to be humble and continue to ask for your support, because that is what has gotten me where I am today. And I will never forget that. And so I will continue to lean on all of you for continuous support as we go through this together. So feel free to share that link. I'm going to post it again one more time. Feel free to share this link, pass it along to other people. Buy a copy for yourself, buy a copy for your friend, family member, buy for your team, maybe buy for your business, your entire company. This is something that I feel is going to be huge for people, especially in the world that we are entering moving forward. And so happiness will become such a valuable commodity, and I want to equip as many people as possible with the ability to create their own happiness and fulfillment in the world, while still being able to go after life and create levels of achievement and success they've never experienced before, like I have. So I just want to thank you guys for being on here. Thank you guys for checking in. Thank you guys for giving me love. And stay tuned at 2:30 Pacific time. I'll be with Greg. We're actually going to do an exclusive episode of Minimum Viable Person on the Clubhouse app. And so if you are on Clubhouse, which is an audio-based social network, find us there. You can follow me there, and you can get access to when we go live. If we have a way where we can export the audio, we will export it and place it and have it available for you guys, so you guys don't miss an episode. Maybe I'll still record. We'll see. I'll talk to Greg and see if we can do I still want to do a dual streaming. He doesn't think we can do it, but I think we can. But I'll see you guys there at 2:30. And once again, if you guys have any questions, just reach out to me. You can message me. You can find me on all the socials. You can email me directly at thomas@thomasedwardsjr.com. And together, we'll get this message out, and we'll have everyone experiencing the one-up effect. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'll see you guys again very soon.